Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hafiz Muneeb Saeed and today I am going to present emulsions, its types, advantages, disadvantages, packaging and labeling. So first of all, what are emulsions? So emulsions are actually a mixture of two or more liquids which are normally immiscible in each other. So emulsions are actually a part of a more general class of a two-phase system which we known as colloids. Sometimes colloids and emulsions are used interchangeably, but emulsions should be used when both the phases are dispersed and continuous are liquids. So the emulsion comes from a Latin word which we known as the emulgere, which means to milk out. Types of emulsion, there are two basic types of emulsion. Number one is the oil in water emulsion and number two is the water in oil emulsions. So in emulsions, as I already said, that there are two liquids or two phases. So in oil and water emulsions, the oil is solubilize in the water phase. So the phase in which we solubilize another phase is known as the continuous phase, and the phase which we are solubilizing is the dispersed phase. So in oil in water phase, the oil is the dispersed phase and the water is the continuous phase. And the second type is the water in oil, and in which the water is the dispersed phase and the oil is the continuous phase. So first type is the oil in water phase. In this type of emulsion, the oil will be the dispersed phase and the water will be the dispersion medium. The best example of oil in water emulsion is the milk. So it is some brief process how we make oil in water emulsion. So first of all, we take two phases, that is our water phase and the oil phase. Then we mix them, and then we apply some surfactants or some emulsifying agents in order to extend stand the oil in the water, and then we make the oil in water emulsion. The second one is the water in oil emulsion. So in this type, water will be the dispersed phase and the oil will be the dispersion medium or continuous phase. So water in oil emulsion has its example as margarine, which is a spread which is used to flavoring, baking and working. So water in oil emulsion making process is very easy. We just take oil and then pour some water in it, and then we use some solubilizing or emulsifying agents in order to mix this water in the oil. Here the water is the dispersed medium and the oil is the continuous medium or continuous phase. So here are the advantages of the emulsions. The first advantage is that normally some drugs are not soluble in water or poorly soluble in water. So we make emulsions of those drugs and we make them soluble in water. The second advantage is that the pharmaceutical emulsions are used to mask the bitter taste and odor of the drugs by using some sweetening and flavoring agents. The third one is that the emulsions improve stability of a dosage form. Drugs that are more stable in an oily phase compared to an aqueous medium can show improved solubility. The fourth one is that some intravenous emulsions are used, uh, which assist us in diagnosis of a certain disease. The fifth one is that the emulsions have a prolonged release of drug. That means they show a sustained release action of. Then the sixth one is that some essential nutrients can be made into emulsions, so like carbohydrates, fats and vitamins, and then we can administer them to a bedridden patients. Seventh one is that some drugs or some dosage forms are very difficult to swallow, so we make those dosage forms into an emulsion, and then they are easily swallowable. And the eighth one is that emulsions provide protection to drugs which are susceptible to oxidation or hydrolysis. And the ninth one is that emulsions are used widely to formulate externally used products, for example lotions, creams, liniments, etc. So moving forward are the disadvantages of the emulsion. The First disadvantage is that the emulsions are very thermodynamically unstable, and therefore they must be formulated to stabilize the emulsion from separation of two phases. The second one is that they are very difficult to manufacture because there are very certain factors which we have to consider while making our emulsion. Third one is that storage conditions may affect stability. So if we store an emulsion in a dry or humid or very high temperature place, then the drug may be unstable or deteriorated. So we must keep that in mind. So storage condition may affect its stability. Fourth one is that the emulsions are bulky and very difficult to transport, and as they are the liquid separation, so they are very prone to uh, container breakage. So then their fifth one is that they are liable to microbial contamination, and sixth one is that they have no uniform or accurate dose. And moving forward are we have the packaging of emulsions. So first of all, depending on the use, emulsion should be packed in a suitable container. So emulsions which are meant for the oral use should be filled in a well filled bottles having an airtight closures. So for products which are light sensitive, we should use amber colored bottles, and for the viscous emulsions we should use wide mouth bottles. And then at the end, here is the labeling of the emulsion. So while labeling a emulsion, we should label that we should use a emulsion by shaking it before use. And then there is that external use products should clearly mention on their label that they are meant for external use only. And then we should label that the emulsion should be stored in a cool and humid place, and we should not use refrigeration because the low temperature can adversely affect the stability of the preparation. Here are some references. That is all from my side. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.